3 a.m. You're on your way home. You pull up to an intersection. The light is red. There isn't another car in sight, not a single person. You look left, empty. You look right, still empty. But you, still, have to sit there, waiting. We've all been through this, and we all think the same thing. What a stupid timer. But what if I told you it isn't a timer? What if I told you that right now this entire intersection is watching you? That it has multiple hidden senses, and it's actively deciding whether to let you go? This isn't just a pole with a light on it. This is one of the most complex and misunderstood automated robotic systems we interact with every single day. And its secret isn't up on the pole. It's right beneath your feet. This is the brain. Every intersection has one. And for most of the 20th century, this brain was incredibly stupid. It ran on something called a fixed timer. 60 seconds of green for the main road, 30 seconds of green for the side street. Over, and over, and over. It didn't matter if it was 5 p.m. or 3 a.m. This created a massive problem. Waste. Especially in the 1970s when the oil crisis hit. America suddenly realized it was burning millions of gallons of gasoline, just sitting still, waiting for ghost cars that were never going to come. Engineers got an urgent demand. Make a light that only turns green when someone is actually there. The problem was, how? They tried mechanical pressure plates, but they got jammed with mud, failed in the ice, and were destroyed by trucks. They tried pneumatic tubes. They cracked and wore out. Anything that touched the car would eventually break. Engineers needed a solution with no moving parts, something that could be buried, forgotten, and still work perfectly for decades. And they found it. Not in computer science, but in a principle of physics from 1831. Look down. You see these weird diamond-shaped cuts in the asphalt? That's not a bad repair job. That is the intersection's first and most common sense. A lot of people think this is a scale, a weight sensor. But the truth is so much smarter. This is actually a giant antenna, a metal detector. Buried under this asphalt is a loop of copper wire. The brain is constantly sending a weak electrical current through it, creating a stable electromagnetic field right here in your lane. And your car? Well, it's basically a giant block of metal. When you drive inside that loop, your giant block of metal disturbs the magnetic field. That tiny disturbance, a drop in inductance, is detected instantly. Beep. The brain gets the signal. There is a car waiting in lane 2. It's a genius design. No moving parts. Sealed safely away from rain, snow, and trucks. It's cheap, and it's incredibly durable. This is why the lights sometimes won't change for a bicycle or a motorcycle. They simply don't have enough metal to trigger this 60-year-old detector. If you're curious about the other senses this intersection is using, like those cameras up there, consider subscribing. It lets us know you're waiting for the next video. But this sense has a blind spot. Induction loops are great, but cutting up the road to install and repair them is a nightmare. And as cities grew, intersections got more complicated, needing to watch 5, 6, 7 lanes at once. So engineers gave the intersection a new sense: sight. Now, be honest. When you see this, what do you think? Red light camera. That is the single most common misconception. The vast majority of cameras you see, like this one, are not there to give you a ticket. They might not even be recording. They are visual sensors. Inside the brain, an engineer has drawn virtual detection zones on the video feed. When the camera sees an object the size of a car stop inside one of those virtual zones, it sends the exact same signal as the loop. Car waiting. It's cheaper, easier to install, and it can see the entire intersection with just one device. But sight has a weakness too. It can be blinded by the setting sun, or obscured by heavy fog, or a blizzard. The intersection needed one more sense, one that could work in any condition. This is the one most people never even notice. It doesn't look like a camera. This is radar. Just like a bat, this device is constantly bouncing microwave or radar signals off the road. Those waves bounce back off your car, and the brain analyzes the return signal to determine there is a car. And is it moving? Or is it stopped? It doesn't care about snow or rain or fog. It only cares about objects and movement. So, the modern intersection doesn't just have one sense, it has three, all working in parallel. It feels for metal from below. It sees shapes from above. And it senses motion with waves. All of this data flows right back here, letting the brain make the best possible decision. And this is where things get really interesting. Because not all signals are created equal. Have you ever seen an ambulance or a fire truck race towards an intersection, and, like magic, the light instantly turns green just for them? That is not a coincidence. That is the secret sense. Emergency vehicles are equipped with a special signal emitter. It might be a high-intensity infrared strobe or a radio signal, and up on the traffic pole is a special receiver. When the fire truck flips its system on, it sends a VIP signal to the intersection's brain, basically screaming, "Clear the way! I'm coming!" The brain immediately throws out all of its normal logic. It will force every other direction to turn red, and only give a green light to the direction the truck is coming from. It will hold that green until the truck is clear, and only then will it return to normal operation. It is a deliberate hack, designed to save lives. And you know who else has their own hack button? You do. When you press this button, you're sending a signal just like a car. You're telling the brain, hey, don't forget about me. And that's also the reason for one of the biggest urban conspiracy theories, the placebo button. At super busy, downtown intersections, like in the middle of New York City, where there is always heavy traffic, the system just goes back to its old fixed timer mode. Why? Because it knows there are always cars, and always pedestrians. In that case, the button you're pressing, really, doesn't do anything at all. It's just there, to make you feel like you're in control. So, that brings us back to the original question. 3 a.m., an empty intersection. Why? Are you still waiting? It could be that this intersection's main sensor is an old loop and it's programmed with a minimum red light time, say 30 seconds, just to be safe in case the sensor missed someone. Or it could be that you've stopped your car in the wrong spot. You're not on the loop. You are there. But this 60-year-old blind intersection simply can't feel you. The next time you stop at a red light, remember, you are not interacting with a stupid timer. You are at the very center of a complex symphony of data, a multisensory system, constantly weighing dozens of signals. The metal in the road, the shapes from the camera, the waves from the radar, the priority signals, and the button you just pressed. All to answer one seemingly simple question: who gets to go, and who has to wait?